So this is the first cats maths video, and we're going to start by simplifying the expression. So we have a 6 plus -2, and the positive and the negative turn into a negative, so it's actually 6 minus 2, which equals 4. Next we have 3 minus -2. That has a negative and a negative, so that makes a positive. So 3 plus 2, which is 5. After that, we have -7 plus 4. And the way I like to think about negative numbers sometimes is like money. So someone owes you $7 and they pay back 4 of those dollars. So they still owe you $3. A lot of people like to use number lines too. So if we have a number line and we've got like -7 over here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, -1, -3, -5. So if you have -7 and you add 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, then you have -3. -10 minus 5. So again, you could think about it like money. Someone owes you $10 and they borrow $5 more from you, so now they owe you $15, right? So -15. You could do the number line with this one too. You could have a number line, right? Let's just put 10 right here, and then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So -10 minus 5, so now you're going to go in the opposite direction. This is the negative direction on the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So -15. Moving on to finding different things. So we've got find the quotient, and that's 30 divided by -3. So you could first think of it without the negative if that confuses you. 30 divided by 3 is 10. And then you have a positive divided by a negative, which makes a negative. The next one is find the product. So you've got a +6 times a -2. Again, you could start with just the simple multiplication. So 6 times 2 is 12. And you have a positive times a negative, which makes a negative. A quotient again, you've got a negative divided by a positive. So 10 goes into 100 10 times, and it's negative because you have a negative and a positive. The product, so -5 times -1. Negative times a negative is a positive number. So we have, let's see, you could do a negative times a positive, and that gives you a negative. You could do, right, just the normal positive times positive, and you get a positive. You could do negative times negative, which gives you a positive. And the same rules apply for division. So you could do a negative divided by a positive, or the other way around, right? A positive divided by a negative. And those both equal a negative number. And then you could do a positive divided by positive, which is just positive. And you can do a negative divided by a negative, which again is just positive. So there's the rules for those in case you weren't sure about those. You can refer to that. Now we're going to solve some equations. So I have 13 equals 3n plus 4. The first thing I'm going to do is get the n by itself, right? So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. End up with 9 equals 3n. Divide by the 3, so you get n alone. And that gives you n equals 3. Here I have 15 equals 5 plus m over 2. Again, you want the m term by itself, so we're going to subtract 5. You end up with 10 equals m over 2. To get rid of this denominator, we multiply by a 2. So multiply multiply, and you end up with m equals 20. Now I have negative 7 plus x over 3 equals negative 2. So again, you want to get x by itself, but this time it's a little bit different. You have this whole thing going on, and you want to get rid of this 3 so that you can get x alone. So to get rid of that 3, just like the one above here with the multiplication by a 2, you can multiply by a 3. And if you do it to one side of the equal sign, you have to do it to the other to make sure that that stays equal. So now you have negative 7 plus x equals negative 6. And then just isolate x again, so add 7. X is equal to 1. Find the value of. So this is basically the same thing we just did, solving equations or finding the value of. The only difference is sometimes you'll see something that says find the value of, say, z, and the equation has more than one variable in it, so you could have like 6z plus 7y equals 12, and then your answer would just have this y in there. But right now the stuff that you have, it's just one variable, so it's even easier. We want to get the n by itself, so we add 7 to both sides here. N over 2 is equal to negative 3, right? And then you can multiply by the 2 to get rid of that. You have a negative times positive, so it gives you a negative. So n is equal to negative 6. Here we have some addition. Negative 12 plus 6v equals 0. Isolate the v, so we add 12 to both sides. You'll end up with 6v equals 12. Divide by the 6. V is equal to 2. So we have the same kind of thing that was happening in this example here with the equation. You've got some kind of term here divided and the variables included. So again, just multiply to get rid of that denominator. The 4's cancel. So you end up with 16 equals 14 plus p. You want to get rid of that 14, right, because you want p alone. So minus 14 from both sides, and you end up with p equals 2. And the last one for solving for a variable, we have, oh, whoops, that says x, it should be an n. So 7 equals n minus 2. Multiply by that 2. Gets rid of the denominator. 14, 2 times the 7, equals n minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. N is now by itself and equals 16. So this last part is part that I was told needed particular attention. And it's true that these can get confusing. Not many people speak in this language. I mean, usually they'll just write it down as an expression. But here's the formally written out in English way to do this. So you have the sum of 13 and x. Sum means addition. So it's the addition of 13 and x. So 13 plus x. 7 less than z. So less than, that makes me think of subtraction. And it's 7 less than z. So z is minusing 7. And the order matters. You have to pay attention to that. Y multiplied by 17. So here it's multiplication. The order doesn't matter. But just generally you write the number before the variable. So 17 times y. Y multiplied by 17. And then this last one, again, it does deal with subtraction. The difference of 21 and n. This is one where the wording is really important because the order. So the first one that comes in the sentence when you're doing the difference of is the number that's going to subtract the other number. So 21 minus n, the difference of 21 and n. So I hope that helps out with the first week of math. And any other questions, feel free to send them to me and I'll be happy to help you out.